Hellraiser was very well received, albeit not without some controversy, at Gamescom. What got me excited at first when the trailer dropped last month was just a horror franchise game is not going to be an asymmetrical co-op multiplayer thing. I'm so over that. I'm so bored with that. We've seen so many of those kinds of games. The fact that this is a single-player game set in the Hellraiser universe that allows you to take part in your very own Hellraiser story, that has me very, very excited. But I'm also curious and fascinated, is this going to be this generation's Thrill Kill? Now, if you don't remember Thrill Kill was a Power Stone fighting game that was very violent, very M-rated. A lot of gore. I don't remember if there was full-on nudity in it. It was coming out of EA. The last time I saw it was at E3. And then it was killed. It was deemed too violent, too aggressive, too adults only for the video game market. Well, here we have another game that's pushing those similar boundaries with obviously a very modern, very realistic looking, and very bloody coat of paint. The game itself sounds like it's a little bit like Outlast meets Resident Evil 7 is what I'm hearing. Now look, I love gore, and the gore in this game sounds delightful. Here's just some descriptions of what the people who played it say you could do in the game.
The upcoming Hellraiser revival might just set a new bar as one of the goriest games yet.
They are not cutting any corners on this. Full on horror, gore, nudity, sex scenes, BDSM galore. They're pushing the envelope here. There's a particular scene when Aiden has to get a knife from a body to attack someone who is trying to get him. And while it's happening, as Aiden pulls the knife out, he realizes that the guy is still alive, but the dude that you're pulling the knife out of is like, oh my God, it's so good.
And apparently that kind of stuff continues into the combat, where when you're beating up on these cultists, they're actually loving it. It's like they're basically just all masochist, and while you're hitting them with metal pipes, they're like, oh my God, that feels so good, but they're still trying to kill you. According to Games Radar, there's a scene at the beginning where your girlfriend basically has her skin ripped off from her body right in front of you.
We have such sights to show you.
GameSpot also mentions there is a female victim who has a tongue hanging out where her lower jaw should be because her lower jaw has been sliced off. And my favorite is this puzzle where you need to get two parts of a key. And to get one of the parts of the key, you get it by going into someone's stomach and then going up all the way under its jaw and pulling the key down from whatever this thing is called inside your jaw. You know, like George Lucas has I always call it like where he stores nuts for the winter. Although he's lost a lot of weight. Looks better, I'm glad. We need George around. Very, very violent game. And I honestly don't think that's going to be a problem with the ratings board. The ratings problem is going to come from the full frontal nudity. There's a lot of overt, over-the-top sexuality. There's a lot of S&M sex happening. There's even, because it's a first-person game, you're walking around at the beginning of the game naked, and you can look down, and apparently you can see a very detailed version of your cock. Hello. I'll have one cock, please. I don't, because it sounds funny. It sounds, you have to do the story about Hellraiser, but you want to do funny voices. Help me. Ooh, I haven't had a Ritalin. Oh, now who's in control? Editing? Fuck you. You can look down and see your penis, and apparently it's very, very detailed. Not to be gross, but that's what's getting cut. You know it, and I know it. And that's fine. Sony's not going to allow it. I did some consulting on a game, which sounds in a lot of ways very similar to this, called Lust from Beyond, which was about cults and over-the-top sex and tons of nudity and gore, and they had to make an M version for consoles. And even the M version, I remember they were calling me and saying Sony won't approve a lot of this stuff. And so there's no way Sony or Xbox, certainly not Nintendo, is going to go for what is described in this game when it comes to the full frontal nudity, the penis jiggle physics. It's just not happening. Now, currently, Saber Interactive is saying that this is the game they want to make. They are staying true to the license. In fact, here's what one of the associate directors of the game said. We're trying to portray all the gore and horror that is present in the films, violence, sexuality, everything. It was really important for us to catch every key element of the franchise and put it in the game in the right context. And clearly the fans want a true to form Hellraiser, which includes all the gore and all the sex you can eat. Now, I don't know if there are enough hardcore Hellraiser fans to make a sales difference, but clearly the hardcore fans, if you go by some of the comments on Reddit, where a lot of the biggest Hellraiser fans hang out, it's clear. Here's some of the comments. I imagine fan outcry would be pretty intense if they censor it. Lover of Stories says, no one's going to buy a censored Hellraiser. So they don't think it's going to go their way. They say, I don't think a company like Sony is going to be okay with anything we've seen in the Hellraiser trailer. If they convince them to censor it for the console, it will likely be censored across the board. It will completely ruin a game that takes place in the Hellraiser universe. So the hardcore fans are not interested in anything other than a true to form, aka exceptionally violent, filled with sexy time stuff version of the game. So what are they going to do? Well, here's what I think is ultimately going to happen. Saber Interactive, who's publishing the game, while they're clearly not saying this now, it's clear what they will say soon is this. Look, we get it. We'll have an M-rated version of this game and an AO version of this game. The M-rated will go, obviously, to consoles. It may end up going, given what was happening the last couple of months with Steam and this Australian group that was saying you can't sell these kinds of titles, pulling a lot of the adult games. So it may go, the M-rated version may go to PC as well, but hopefully Saber will do kind of the version that is really the true version of the game on their website, kind of like what Red Candle did when Devotion was banned everywhere because of Winnie the Pooh China. And in that was the only way you could get it. Well, hopefully that's the way you can get the AO version. And I have to imagine they're courting the controversy. They know this. This isn't the plan. Saber Interactive has been around for a very long time. They published Space Marine 2, Crisis, World War Z, SnowRunner games. There's no way they're not aware that they're not going to get away with this when it comes to the ESRB, but that's not what they're playing up, right? I think they know full well this is going to be a bit of a controversial thing, and they're counting on it. I'm sure you've already heard that the publisher had vomit bags sitting next to the PC when journalists were playing the game at Gamescom because the game is so sick and disgusting that you may vomit. Come on. I love it. It's like Terrifier did it. It goes back to like old movies when they had nurses in the lobby because the movie was going to be so scary that people were having heart attacks and you needed to make sure that there was someone there to save you and resuscitate you if the movie scared you to death. This is a PR push, but it's a good one. The game itself, if you strip out the license and the blood and the gore, sounds like a very fun, solid, competent, satisfying survival horror game. The fact that it's got all the gore and the controversy and stuff makes it even more exciting. So I'm in day one with Hellraiser. Very much looking forward to this. And please let me know in the comments. Will you be playing the game with cock or without cock? Sans cock. Is it sans? Sans means without. The word sans means without. So with your cock or will you play it sans cock?